a story on George Elokobi, who played for the English Premier League team Wolverhampton FC, continues. We take a look today at the breakthrough that George Elokobi had into the English Premier League. George Elokobi took off for real with Colchester United into Wolverhampton. But before he was signed for Colchester, he had played for other minor teams. Let's look at George Elokobi struggling in some minor teams into Colchester, and Colchester into Wolverhampton.
Opportunity came for me to join Colchester. It wasn't just a walk in the park. Believe me. I had the first training session, which I said earlier on. And in that training session, I surpassed all expectations. And then there was another letter sent back to Dulwich Hamlet Football Club. We will want him now to come and play a reserve football match against Norwich City. So it became very interesting. And I went and played this match. And I was played out of position in the first half. So they played me at left back. And I was in the left back by origin. I've been playing at left side centre back. So it's a completely different position. You may look at it like just a couple of steps or 10 yards to your left. But what the left back does is completely different from what a left side centre back does on the football pitch. And I excelled in this game. And then I was sent back to Dulwich Hamlet to carry on playing and training. After 2 weeks, another letter came through from Colchester United Football Club to Dulwich Hamlet, inviting me to come and play against Leyton Orient Football Club in London at Bridgebank Road at the time. And I went and I played this game and played extremely well again. Yet a decision was not made. I was asked to go back to Dulwich Hamlet and carry on. And the final invitation came when they said all the trialists will be playing against Colchester United reserve team. And that was when I said to myself, if at this stage I've not convinced Colchester to sign me on, this is the day I'll do it. And I did just that. And I was the outstanding player on that football pitch. And this didn't just happen. The preparation was key to everything. You could say I was one step ahead. I'll play for Dulwich. I'll play 2 games for Dulwich Hamlet. But then I'll be the first one running around in Brixton Hill at the time where my mom lived to get fitter and stronger. So this put me in good stead to be able to compete against a full-time, bearing in mind Dulwich Hamlet was a part-time football club. To go there and compete against a full-time club. And I did that without any issues whatsoever with my fitness, but also with the way I commanded and led the team. Because I was the outstanding player in that for those trialists, for the players that played in the trialist side.
That's right.
But I remember vividly after that game, we was off to do a cool down, and the manager Phil Parkinson called me to one side and asked me, "How did you feel playing against the reserve team here at Colchester?" I said, "I just loved it." I said, I feel like I belong here, and if I'm given a chance, he won't regret it. I'm willing to learn, I'm patient, but I can rest assured him, if I'm given a chance, I'll be one of the best players he's ever signed in his entire managerial career. So I was confident. I wasn't cocky, I was just confident about my own ability, and I knew what it took. I knew it took hard work, discipline, belief, dedication, sacrifices, determination, and I had all of that in abundance. And that was the difference. and he told me, welcome to Colchester United. I'll give you a 12-month contract. I know you are still work in progress, but being at a full-time environment, I and my coaching staff can help you. And that message was transferred back when I went home and I told Mom. Mom was jubilant for me. Obviously, she was a bit worried I was going to leave my education halfway, which it had to be the decision now to make between a full-time education or doing part-time education, and now full-time football. And she said, it looks like it's your destiny, son.
Right.
So go for it.
And let's just have a picture of the first league match you played for Colchester.
I didn't actually play my first league match for Colchester. After joining Colchester,
yes,
I began excelling rapidly. So I was signed on and asked to stay with the youth team for the season and see how I progress. Within 3 months, I was given, they took the youth team training kit off me and presented me with the first team training kit within 3 months of being at the club. So that was alone a reward in itself. And I was asked not to play youth team games anymore.
Okay.
Because it became too easy for myself when I was playing youth team games. It showed that wasn't my level anymore. So now I was asked to play with the reserve team at Colchester. And the next phase was obviously, the next step was the first team. So I was playing with the reserve team at Colchester and traveling. Everywhere the first team went, I was on that coach. And I remember the manager told me, this is part of your education. I need you to watch how we play. I need you to see how hostile the away environment is. It's very important for your education. So that once your opportunity comes, you won't be faced by this, by all the hostility and everything that goes on, that comes with it for a young.
So most of these challenges you had already been worked up with.
Yes.
You were already acquainted.
Acquainted to.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd already acquainted myself to these environments. And believe me or not, I was missing out because these were long away trips. You know, for a young man of 19 years of age, you want to be socializing with your friends. But I fell out with some of my very good friends because they realized I was doing something else. And I was not available to hang out, to go out partying or go out drinking. I was more focused on my football career. Hence, I traveled everywhere. And then I remember a reserve game. After a reserve game, the assistant manager drove to where I was living. We call it Dick's. So I was living with the White family, and he drove to the house, and he told me, "Oh, there's been interest on me coming out on loan." And I said, "To where?" You won't believe it. Chester City Football Club.
Right.
So this is me
From Colchester?
from East.
East.
And now I have to travel all the way to the north.
Were they of the same tier? Were they of the same?
No. Chester City was in League 2.
In League 2.
In the 4th tier.
That was a huge movement.
It was a huge movement. I wasn't driving. I had 30 minutes to pack my luggages, to pack a few clothes. I was going to go for a month loan. So I rang my mom, and my mom said, "That's fine. I trust in you. I believe in you." And they told me everything was going to be taken care of by Chester City Football Club. I was put in a hotel. I went up there. I caught the train from Colchester. I was driven by the assistant manager. He dropped me at the train station. I went up to London, caught the train from London all the way on the other side. And I remember getting there at about 10 p.m., almost 11 p.m. The manager there, one of the backroom staff was waiting for me. So he picked me up and took me to my hotel and checked me in, and they got me food and everything to eat. and told me they were going to pick me in the morning because they knew I didn't drive. So they arranged, I got picked up in the morning and I went. You would not believe who was the manager at Chester City. The great Ian Rush.
Oh.
The great.
So here you were face to face with Ian Rush.
With Ian Rush, yeah, the legend of Liverpool Football Club. So Ian Rush was the first manager I made my debut under, my professional debut. So Ian Rush played me at left back, my first game, and I was there for a month. But the education, the experience that I gained of this loan move,
yes,
was key to me coming back and excelling at Colchester United Football Club. Because as soon as I went back, I now went from just traveling to being on the bench. I went, I think, in February. And from the end of February, I was on the bench for Colchester until the season finished. But never made my debut in my first season at Colchester. And I was offered another 12-year contract as a reward for my progress on the same money. So there wasn't any change. The same money, I took that. What I saw was the opportunity to progress.
Correct.
It wasn't about the finances at the time. I knew I needed to carry on working as hard as I could, gave everything, and the financial rewards would come later on. Kept my head down, and that season, I remember all my friends were going out on holidays to Spain, to Portugal, and I was even offered a chance to come on a free trip that was paid for by my teammates. Oh, let's go out there, let's have fun in Ibiza, let's party throughout the summer. And I said to them, no, I'm going to stay back, I'm going to go to London, I'm going to stay with my mom over the summer break. But it was a chance for me to get stronger, fitter, to come back and prove again to Colchester that they didn't make a mistake offering me another 12 months.
Okay.
I was hungry and I needed this opportunity. And I didn't want to take my eyes off the ball. I stayed back in the summer, hit the ground running. The season finished. Within 3 days, I was running in every single park in South London. You can name it. People that know South London, Streatham Common Park, Clapham Common, Kennington Park, Peckham, Burgess Park. I ran in all these parks and then went to the gym at Brixton Recreational Centre to get stronger. And I went back to Colchester. I was ready for pre-season. I hit the ground running, and within 3 games into the season, Phil Parkinson called me into his office and said, there's been an injury to one of the senior players, and I'll be making my debut on a Saturday. This was on a Friday morning, and I rang my mom. I was so happy. I was like, Mom, I'm finally making my debut. And she was ecstatic for me because she's seen how hard I've worked up to this point. And let's not forget, this has been a year and a half or 2 years of me being in this country. When I made my debut, I didn't come out of the team for, I think, 9 league games in a row. Scored my first professional goal on my 6th league game. I think against Doncaster at home at Leia Road. I've announced myself to the Leia Road faithfuls. I'm here. But then I was hit by mumps, the illness, mumps.
Yes.
I caught the mumps. I was out for a month and a half. So I came back, rebuilding everything, the fitness levels, my strength. Worked extremely hard with the manager on one-to-one basis to regain my fitness, regain my strength. But also, I kept knocking on that door. I kept knocking on the door to make sure I was on the bench. And then he trusted me to play me in league games, important league games. And I excelled. And we ended up becoming runners up that season and getting promoted into the championship.
Wow. And you are in the championship now with the team of nearly your heart, I should say, where you had labored for so long. And when you entered there, how did you move from there?
How did I move in the championship? We won promotion. Obviously, when you win promotion, it was the first time in the history of Colchester United Football Club we've ever played in the championship. So we are icons as a group. The 2005-2006 promotion winning team, they regard us in Colchester history. We went down in history.